LalakJan slaughtered the Indians for almost 3 months. They feared him a lot. They used to call him the man with 4 guns. Even after 25 years, Indian Army still haven't gathered enough courage to scale up that ridge too far on Tololing. The ridge that killed thousands of their soldiers. They fear to come up as they say Lalak will kill them. And maybe they are right. I personally have no doubt about it. They say correctly that if they will go up onto those posts, they will never be able to come back. Let me tell you more about Lalak and the post-withdrawal ceasefire announcement. On 3rd July 1999, Lalak was seriously injured 3 times after 3rd. Many got injured in Kargil conflict, but every time this happened, they used to fall back in the med camp behind Tiger Hill, get the bullets out, get the stitches and come back again to fight. When you are a soldier of war, you are 90% doctor yourself. You can do all these things, the first aid one, getting the bullet out and stitches yourself. In 90 days of conflict, I've never been to the med camp and have been shot 7 times. Lalak used to say this to me, you don't go back, Sarwar don't go back, Anwar never went back. Why do you guys want me to go back? I'm not gonna leave my post. To tell you the fact, he was way more injured than us. But he refused to leave his post. He was too much emotionally connected with Kadir post. Despite of us trying to convince him to fall back, just for getting his wounds treated, he never listened and stayed there till the end. Lalak totally rejected the idea of going back. His wounds were not small splinter wounds. As I told you, he was severely injured. He had a large shell wound. I personally insisted on him 3 times to come up, at least on the Azadi post. I asked Captain Ahmed to order him. He still refused. He had netted his post with landmines. How can an NLI Markhor, a person from Yasin Valley, the brave Yasin Valley, retreat? Although this was not retreat, we were telling him to come up to the post so we can treat his wounds. But no one could convince Lalak. He didn't back down. He used to say, "Sir, you go, I'm sitting here." When the Indians reached there and Lalak was martyred, the landmines blasted and many of the Indians died even after Lalak got martyred. These were also Lalak's kills. On 7th of July, almost 4 days after the announced withdrawal and ceasefire, the NLI commander called and informed me that LalakJan has been martyred and we want to bring his body back. I was not on Azadi post but in the nearby vicinity and my unit was with me. We reached there in a couple of hours and found 27 to 28 of Indians there. Alhamdulillah, we sent all of them to hell and spared none. There was another unit almost 100 meters down from this post. When they saw us, they ran away. These are the people who survived and went to General Joshi and told him they saw the ghost. Have no doubt, every soldier of Pakistan Army, every Mujahid is Captain Sher Khan, every Mujahid is LalakJan, and every Mujahid is the Ghost of Kargil. Despite passing 25 years, the Indian Army still cannot get out of this trauma. The mountain peaks in Dras and Kargil sector, like Tololing, Tiger Hill and many other peaks, hundreds of them, people think they are on the border. But as I told you, they are not on the border and they are 20 kilometers inside from line of control. As this was a covert operation, we were not using the Air Force, no helis, no airborne, no artillery. India lies. Pakistan never used any artillery. Ask anyone who lives there or who have been posted there. How can the artillery work when there is Tiger Hill, Tololing, 20,000 feet mountains in between you and the Indian post? Yes, we had an air defense unit near our med camp, but that was never used. Indian jets never crossed the Tiger Hill. These units were positioned there that if ever India crosses the Tiger Hill with the planes, we will shoot them down. But in Kargil war, India flew over from Srinagar and went eastwards towards Batarik sector. so they never crossed those mountains. And we shot them down with the anti-aircraft guns we have installed on Tololing. In those early stages of Operation Safed Sagar, India just wanted to get rid of our post on the Tololing. So they flew from Srinagar and went towards Tololing on the east. India knew this very well, that we are everywhere in the Daraz sector also. But because Tololing was the most visible mountain, it's called the Naked Mountain. You can see Tololing from Hulayal and Daraz. So India just wanted to show that they have recaptured some of the posts on Tololing. So they brought their air force targeting Tololing because they were unable to scale. They thought that the air force will come, they will attack, they will destroy our post and everything will be okay. Our men shot down their aircrafts by anti-aircraft guns because our men were sitting on 20,000 feet and the aircraft was flying on 21,000 feet. And this is a very small area to cover for a fighter jet. Maybe few seconds they can cover this area. So they fell on our side. Because this was a covert operation, that was the essence of the Kargil war. So we said that Indian jets just crossed over the line and we shot them down. Secondly, the Indian army always complained that they had to climb these mountains. It was an uphill task. Hey, we also had to climb the mountains. We used to do that every day. What's wrong with you? We did not jump from the sky and sit on the peaks. We had to climb the mountains also from our side. Why were you having issues? You were on your side of the LOC. It was us who was on your side of the LOC, the enemy terrain. But to be honest, scaling up these mountains are no easy task. A normal soldier of Pakistan Army's average height 6 feet. So these are mountains of 18,000 feet, 20,000 feet. It was always difficult, but not impossible. Nothing is impossible for a Mujahid. We carried small weapons. Think for yourself. You have to climb up. How can you take heavy weapons? This was out of question. It's not possible. We knew that we have to fight this war with small weapons only. We knew this from day one. There won't be any supply. We were not mad. We knew that we are going 20 kilometers from the border. After that, we have to climb a mountain of 18,000 feet and go up and occupy the peak. We also knew that this is enemy terrain. This is not Pakistan boundary. We won't have any supply lines. What's the big deal in it? I sometimes hear some soldiers who were not even part of the Kargil war complaining about this. Hello mister, you were not there. Ask anyone who have fought there, who had stayed there. He never wanted to come back. And we never did because the Indians settled just getting the valleys, just getting the foothills, and they settled down. They never came up and they never came up to check. They never came up to see. They just celebrated what they have got. They have saved the valleys and that's it. Yes, we did face some confusion in 10 to 15 days after the withdrawal announcement. Some of the visible peaks, some of the notorious peak whose name had been announced in the media, they were left vacant. But the Indians never occupied them and we went a little back. Every now and then you will find an article in Indian media claiming that 53 other peaks, they were never taken back by Indian army. I'm not saying that. Indians themselves claim that. What I'm saying is that we came back for a few weeks due to these pressures, but then we went back again. And now 25 years, the whole area is in Pakistan's control. India does not control a single hilltop. Indian army cannot even reach 3 kilometers away from the peaks. They will stand 15 kilometers away and point towards the mountain and say that is Tololing, that is Tiger Hill. They can never reach a point that they stand on the Tiger Hill and tell you this is Tiger Hill top and I'm standing there. We knew we had to stay there for 4 to 5 months and pull this conflict in the winter. What did we have? Small weapons, limited resources of ammunition, but surely there was something we also had. Tawakkal Allah. Tawakkal Allah was with us. When you have Tawakkal Allah, what supply line, what enemy strength? We never went there to return. This mission was on volunteer basis. Who went there to return? If you don't want to come, don't come. There is no pressure whatsoever because we knew that we will not return. There was no forced inclusion in the mission. We went inside Kargil and captured India by the Sharak, Srinagar and Leh highway. This Sharak is not only for Kashmir but for the whole India. An Indian army having its complete military might, its complete military machine was not able to dislodge us from there. They were unable to take a single post from us in these 90 days, even the smallest listening post. Tell me which post Indian Army tells you that they have taken it before July. Whatever movies they make, whatever documentaries you see, their army records, check their dates from 15th April to July when the withdrawal was announced on 3rd of July. Before that, in 90 days gap, which post did they take back? Those people who say that Kargil plan had flaws, there was no supply lines, there was no such objective. Those scoundrels don't know Pakistan Army at all. The objective was to push India 25 kilometers away from line of control in Kargil Daras region. And this is exactly where they stand today, even after 25 years. The Pakistani Army never has a mission in which they will think that he will come back home. We never go to come back. We always go one way. Any of our mission, we always consider it as our last mission. So you assume that we were not knowing that we are going 20 kilometers inside Indian terrain and we had to stay there for 4 months. And we were naive enough to understand that this is not a one-way mission. Right? This is what you think? Whatever supplies, whatever ammo, whatever we have to do, we have to arrange it from there. Those who know nothing about this, they say it was a misadventure. Misadventure what, brother? To create a buffer in Kargil Daras region and push the Indians across Tiger Hill. And as I told you few minutes earlier, the buffer still stands. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. This episode of TGOK, The Ghost of Kargil, the audiobook by Naveed Sheikh in English language ends here. If you want to hear more episodes, please log on to sariyas.com where you can purchase the Ghost of Kargil badge, you can purchase the audiobooks or the subscription. Also, you can hear to the same episode without the background score. Looking forward to host you on sariyas.com.